Hello there, people of the internet. This is gonna be a hard one. If I could only have three guns, like, for the rest of my life, let's say something happened and it was successful to the point to where I was completely disarmed, except for three guns, and I could not acquire any others. I'm not advocating for this, I'm just saying, in this hypothetical situation, which we're just doing for fun, what would I pick? And this was a hard one. I'm normally used to doing like a five gun thing or something of that variation, but you only get three, and that is a challenge. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. First thing I'd do is I would pick the AR platform. Now, I would pick the AR platform because by legal US law definition, only the lower receiver counts actually as a firearm. So I'd be able to get a variety of upper receivers to fit whatever situation it is that I need to fit. And the way that these work is you can swap out calibers for these exceptionally easy. Even if even if we decided that that was against the rules and you can't just swap out an upper receiver and you had to keep all the same receiver, there's quite a few different options to where all you need to do is like a barrel swap and maybe a bolt swap in order to change to a variety of different calibers. Like there's 300 Blackout, there's 6.5 Grendel, those are probably going to be the main ones. So you got your 30 caliber round, you got your 6.5 round for touching out to long distances, or you got your 5.56, which is your standard run-of-the-mill cartridge for this rifle. Not only that, but parts and availability and whatnot for these guns are absolutely everywhere in the US, so if something does go down on this gun, I'd be able to replace it pretty gosh darn easily. So just the caliber swapping ease alone, like you don't need a machine shop for that. You can do it on your workbench using a AR-15 Armorer's Wrench. They're very, very, very simple to work on. These guns really are like the Lego of guns. Oh no, I just bumped my camera. Are you guys okay? You'll stay right there now. Don't you go nowhere. But just because of the availability of all the things that I could do with this platform, this right here was an easy top pick for me, because I can swap out calibers, I can swap out accessories, I can swap out barrel lengths, I can do a bunch of stuff to this, and the lower receiver basically stays the same no matter what configuration it is that you alter the upper receiver for. So that's a pretty gosh darn easy first pick. And now comes the difficult parts. Because now I just have two, and I'm like, oh no. So we're looking for ones that will last the rest of my life. And I already have myself a rifle, so now I'm going to start looking into handguns. And the handgun part was a little bit more difficult. Ultimately, I elected to go with your classic 1911 style. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I have seen polymer framed handguns from like the 90s. The polymer starts getting like crunchy and starts cracking up and whatnot, especially here in Florida, especially if it hasn't been stored properly, which is how a lot of your what's the word I'm trying to say here? A lot of your modern practical firearms are not stored properly, not like how a Safe Queen would be stored. But I just don't trust the plastic to last for the rest of my life, and that frame is technically, legally speaking, the firearm, so you get that one and then that's it. So I wanted to go with something that's a steel frame, and I am a pretty avid hunter, and I would trust 45 ACP to defend me against whatever wild game might come at me. I know here in Florida we got a bunch of boars, we got panthers, we got things like that. I would trust the 45 ACP for defense against something like that, as opposed to something like a 9mm. I get it, 45 ACP, lower capacity, I get it. It is a little bit more expensive, not quite as readily available as it used to be. I understand the drawbacks, but I still think that this right here would be the best option. I can conceal carry a 1911. I'm, what, 6'2", and I'm not exactly a small guy, so I have concealed carried 1911s before. It's not that much of a hassle. Definitely not ideal by any stretch of the imagination compared to what we have nowadays, but I feel like this right here would be something that would last the rest of my life, which is why I decided to go with it. And then there was one, and this is the hard choice. I was really thinking about going with something like a 22 long rifle just because of all the benefits of 22. Ammo's cheap, it's lightweight, you can carry a lot of it. Insert your benefits of 22 long rifle here. This isn't a video where we're talking about how great 22 is. But ultimately, I decided to go with... Let me move this out of the way. I decided to go with a shotgun of some kind. Probably a pump-action shotgun. The reality is probably this pump-action shotgun. This is an 1897 Winchester pump-action shotgun. It does have the slam fire capabilities. It is 12 gauge. This particular one is a 2 3/4 inch. Earlier versions of this were like a 2 5/8 inch. You got to pay attention to those because apparently, if you try firing 2 3/4 inch shells out of that, because of that slightly what's it called? The slightly more compact chamber, it doesn't quite allow the shotgun to expand properly, and as a result, you're gonna end up getting slightly increased pressure. And I have seen the actual frames on these crack because of that, but this one doesn't have that problem, so I don't gotta worry about that. So the 12 gauge shotgun, obviously, you got your versatility, birdshot, buckshot, slugs. That topic has been just pounded into the ground. But on top of that, I already have an intermediate rifle, and I already have a handgun. I need something that has some power behind it in the event that I need something that has some power. Now, just because of my own capabilities as a shooter, the AR platform, especially if I'm rocking like 6.5 Grendel or something like that, that is well within the realm of my own capabilities. Like, the capabilities of that cartridge are well within the realms of my own capabilities. As a matter of fact, 6.5 Grendel, put in the hands of a competent shooter with a proper rifle, can touch out to 1,000 yards pretty gosh darn easily. As a matter of fact, I would say my limitation, like my absolute best limitations, if I'm bench resting on a calm day and I'm not hungover, like, I can touch out to about 300 yards if I have a proper magnified optic on a rifle. Like a man-sized target at 300 yards. We're not talking MOA groups at 300 yards. So at those distances, if I need something with some power, you can touch out with a shotgun with slugs out to those distances. As a matter of fact, maybe I'd get myself a rifled barrel for this thing specifically for touching out to long ranges with those slugs. Or I could just use rifled slugs, and yes, they do spin. Taff Later Mouse made a video where he actually tested that, and yes, they do spin, and yes, they do stabilize. So I got the intermediate rifle for, you know, a do-all, do-everything gun. I got the handgun for a do-all, do-everything gun. And then I have the do-all, do-everything gun for your do-all, do-everything gun. No matter what it is I'm going for, I got the birdshot and the buckshot and the slugs, and there's very, very, very little that you could accomplish, or that you could not accomplish with a shotgun like this right here, especially within the realms of my own capabilities. So I think that just because of the versatility of this gun and how much power it packs behind it, that's why I would decide to go with a pump-action shotgun. Specifically this one. I really like this Winchester, and it's been around for a long time, so you know it's pretty well made. So, if I could only own 3 guns, as much as I'd hate to say it, those would be the 3 I would love to have. Honestly, I'd love to toss an AK into that list, but I think the AR, just because of its ability to swap out calibers and ability to accessorize and whatnot, it beat out the AK, because I can stick 300 blackout inside that rifle pretty gosh darn easy, and that's pretty gosh darn on point with 7.62x39. I'd love to have a military surplus rifle, like a full powered rifle, bolt action rifle, something like this 303 British. This one's been sporterized. But something like this right here, there's a lot of uses that you can use this for. But what this rifle right here could be used for, the AR, I mean, it can also basically achieve those same jobs. Granted, it is less powerful, but if I need more power, that's what a shotgun's for. So that's kind of where my logic is. So that's my 3, and boy was this a difficult video. Boy was this Well, this was definitely one of those videos where I was like, ah, God, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. So, thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go up. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next video. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. I'm sorry. Bye, guys. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.